So the date's March 21st, 2025. I'm not sure when I'm going to release or publish this video, but I wanted to record it at least before I lose my, or not lose, but maybe if my level of awareness might change. So talking about the nature of reality, spiritual life, semen retention, all this stuff kind of coincide and go with each other. Our base level or understanding, or for the most part feeling of energy, is your sexual energy. So until you start to conserve that and then refine it and raise it, you'll probably have a very materialistic view of reality. I definitely was that for a long time, and I don't know what's going on. I have no suspicions, and it's stuff I have to believe based off experiences I've had. And so we'll go to talking about sleep paralysis and the nature of dreams, or part of what's happening in dreams, at least for myself so far. So I remember like sleep paralysis would happen all the time when I was younger, especially when I was I was homeless. I was homeless for a little bit, living out of my car for a while, and just camping a bunch, camping outside, like either like backpack hiking, or I'd have to sleep in my car. And so at this time I had just been out of the Marine Corps for a couple of years, and I was really messed up. Childhood trauma never dealt with, military trauma never dealt with. I was a really shitty person. I had quit drinking and smoking at this time, and I just started to spend more time intentionally in meditation and practicing more yoga asana and stuff like that. So sleep paralysis, having that feeling of being, you can't move, right? And then you see like some weird shadowy black, like succubus type thing in your room, and it's terrifying, right? Very terrifying. So along the lines of that, I think a lot of times when that happens is your vibration. So how you live, with how you treat your body, how you treat other people, including animals, like so the food you eat, if you drink, if you smoke, masturbation, how you treat people, one night stands, sex and stuff like that. If you have a low state vibration, the current understanding I have is your nighttime, the lower astral beings can come and fuck with you. So that's what that shadowy black figure might be, a lower astral being that kind of just fucks with you, right? Kind of it makes you so you can't move. And I know that the science behind it too, like something in your brain shuts down. So when you have dreams and you freak out in your dream, you're not moving the body, right? But if you've had sleep paralysis, it's a different type of thing, right? Because you're awake, you're cognizant of what's going on around you, and you see this like shadowy black, evil-looking creature or woman, whatever it might be, right? So there's that type of sleep paralysis, and when I clean up my lifestyle, that stuff stopped happening, right? So the vibration, a big impact is going to be food, right? So sure, semen retention, and then alcohol, drugs, also food. And the more dense the food, the lower vibration will have. The fasting, higher, liquids, higher, vegetables, below that, right? So a guy named Ride the Tiger Yoga on YouTube, like recently had a good video talking about like food and how the meat and dense food brings you to your Muladhara, your root chakra, the physical more existence, and vegetables and fasting takes you to your Vishuddhi, your throat chakra, the metaphysical, spiritual, like awareness. So check him out. He's super big on tantra, like lifestyle, and I think Agora, the just check him out. Very great information for the most part. So beyond that, talking about dreams and sleep paralysis, I've also had sleep paralysis where I wake up and I see these fucking like orbs, right? And the orbs are like red and green, and then they'll have like a shadowy, kind of like a silhouette kind of. So like like a big red or green ball here, and it has like an outline of like a human or figure type around it, right? But it's not anything but like a form of a shadowy black stuff. And I don't know what that is, but like it feels like their vibration exerts so much pressure that it stops me from moving, right? So that happens usually, like feeling good, and I don't have an interpretation for that, whether it's like dimensional beings or entities or whatever it might be, but it's again not a dream state. It's sleeping, waking up, and not being able to move because they exert so much pressure. So similar to the sleep paralysis. Now talking about sexual type dreams, and here's why I'm gonna make the video, because it happened last night again. So whatever might trigger it, and I used to like talk to these old like 70-year-old monks, talk about how if you live life for so long, or your body naturally has to expel or excrete nutrients, right? But so these tantra monks, who are a group I'm part of, asking them specifically about this type of stuff, like you conserve semen, and your body automatically has to release at nighttime, so it's healthy for you. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think psychologically, sometimes yes, because your daytime thoughts are focused around that, it's going to impact your dream. Most dreams we have, oftentimes our subconscious would be communicating with us, depending on what like brainwave state we're in, like delta or theta, right? These other dreams though, I've had dreams where like these women are trying to have sex with me, and so becoming like taking daytime to instill in your mind that that's not what you want to do. So it's like when I know when I was younger, I would never have sex without a condom, because I made it like a point to never have sex without a condom, to not get like a woman pregnant, right? Or not commit or get like STDs. So having the daytime awareness that I'm not having sex. Meeting women is not a question, because there's no right relationship for me right now, because I'm not entertaining it, I'm not having sex. So in this dream, having women try to have sex with me, and then they drug me, man. And they offer me some drugs, and I say no, and then like more peer pressure, and I take like a small amount in the drugs, and I black out. In my dream, I black out, and I wake up having had a like nighttime release, right? So that happened. Other times, similar stuff has happened, and in my repelling of these women, like the dream like went black. Like when you turn off those old like CRT TVs, and like the static makes like a vertical line, my dream went like that, and then all these fucking like letters and numbers were on my awareness of my screen in my dream, for like they flashed for like a few seconds, right? So stuff like that. And then last night, so I went to a Tibetan Buddhist monastery last year in Nepal, and I stayed there for a while, and I think I was like maybe 70 days without release, and even like release as well isn't like a full ejaculation, just having sex until I stop, but having like a few drops of cum come out would be like the release for me. Even that's happening though, I'd count it as a reset, because I think that at that time, like you get depressurized in your lower area. So at this monastery, and I'm meditating a lot, and I'm doing like a lot of the stuff within the dogma of Tibetan Buddhist practice. I'm not doing the prostrations. That seems not like anything I should be doing, and I'm not Buddhist. I don't seek refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, or Sangha. I don't seek refuge in anything outside myself. And there can be debate about if those are outside self or not. But for me, my thoughts and my choice was to not follow that type of lifestyle. So at this monastery, and it must have been after like an hour and a half like meditation, like by myself in my room, I wake up and it's a very strange experience. I wake in my dream, all this woman did was like she shook her ass at me and then I came like right away. And when I woke up from that, like knowing like I shouldn't be doing this, so I wake up, I can't stop it. And the feeling is so strange because I have like a pulsation at the tip of my dick, right? And it's not like a normal, I might have had it a few times before in different situations, but this is like so fucking weird for like a dream to happen and to have the effect be like that immediate of it. And it wasn't any decision on my part. I wasn't having sex, I wasn't engaged. It's just like a woman came by near me and like 5 seconds later she was shaking her ass and immediately I woke up from ejaculation. So stuff like that and more stuff like that where in the dream state lucidity starts to happen. And the only way I can just explain it is everything feels kind of airy, like things have a change. Most of the time you're in the dream and or often you'll be in the dream and it just kind of, all this weird shit goes and you go along with it, right? I'm not in the military anymore, but I still have dreams about being in the military and it seems like normal fucking shit to me sometimes, for the most part. But at other times there's like it's like your consciousness is awakened in the dream and you have a moment of lucidity, and what that feels like to me is like an airiness, like there's like air, like my dream body is perforated and I feel the air like flowing through me or something like that. And so oftentimes when that happens in these similar situations where dreams are very suspect, I'll just wake up immediately. And I'm a firm, I guess, like follower of the idea that I don't fight lust, but I'm gonna run from it because no, like, I understand like I fail all the fucking time, and so like more often than not, the best choice is to fight lust, or not to fight lust, but to run away from it, rather than try to endure it. There's nothing that I gain by enduring lust. It's like edging it's edging for the most part, yeah. In the sense that you're trying to get like a chemical release type high. So again, this happened last night, and while I was asleep last night, I forget the context of the dream, but I wake up and I sleep in the dark, so like a black room, and overlaid in my room, like 2 feet above and like a couple of feet away from me is this non-human like being, right? And it was I don't know, whatever it might have been, I don't know. You can think about aliens or dimensional entities or demonic creatures or whatever you might want to call them. And it was like in my room, but also like kind of transparent and stuff like that. So it was see-through. And again, I couldn't move. So I was in sleep paralysis. And whether or not there's a more appropriate way to deal with these situations, I just say no. And I try to wake up, but I was awake. So I just say no and end up going back to bed, and eventually I'm still like kind of in that state for a while, but the lucidity disappears and that event is like over with, right? So and it's nothing like taken from me or in my mind, I'll call it like a thwarted attempt, right? For whatever it might have been. And so I don't think this happens all the time to like everyone, but for sure, because it's happened to me, I'm sure other people have been experiencing or dealing with or thought about stuff like this as well, or maybe they have their own conclusions about what it means or their own explanations for themselves. So let's see. So making, and I'm not sure when I'll release this video, if I will, but making these videos for the collective, right? For the brotherhood, because I'm able to, as people have their wisdom and their information, and they can stand up and they can inspire and help other men or people navigate their life in a wholesome, uplifting way. I for sure am no longer, for the most part, attached to my life as my story, but just as a story. So the intention here is that someone might benefit, or it might start conversation, or maybe someone would be more self-analytical or critical about their own experiences, and help them out in some way. But again, I don't know what's going on in like life reality, but I think it's way beyond the physical material world, because I've had experiences I can't deny regarding that. And to break it down, I believe in somewhat of like a Gnostic, Gnostic existence, where our reality is a physical reality, and how like Tibetan Buddhism or Buddhism breaks it down very well, how physical existence comes into reality. Like we ourselves have a connection to the highest, right? So God, spark, source, your divine, whatever you want to call it, you have that connection all the time. But it's usually, for most people, you're not aware of it. Either it's covered up, or it's whatever it might be. There's something that makes us feel disconnected, right? So until we are able to uncover it and feel that, and have the experience of like yoga, to know that you're more than the mind or the body, but you're something more eternal and beyond that, we will live in this physical reality, and sometimes maybe never question it and just accept stuff blindly. Or we get small tastes. We get small tastes of stuff beyond the physical, and we start to look for answers. So that happened to me initially, at different times, having these feelings or experiences, hearing, seeing stuff that had no explanation for myself. And I sought literature and found definitions or things that would help me identify and understand the things that I experienced. So the physical world exists. Gnostic belief, it's a false existence, right? So like we are trapped here, our soul spark is trapped here. And this existence is created by something. And I think they call it Yaldaroth, which is a entity like 2 steps below the highest complete wholeness. And it created a physical reality, and it feeds off of us energetically. So they're called archons, and they eat our emotions for the most part. And I think it's mostly like the fearful type stuff that we try to avoid, and sexual energy as well. And then other things that might play into that is having the sense of forgetting, like the reason why I came here. So other I don't know, like belief systems or some types of spirituality that talk about like spiritual warfare, and I definitely believe in that, and to some extent. I don't know how far into when they talk about all the really new age type stuff, I don't know about that, but I've had this sense before of forgetting my purpose of being here, and thinking that it was to come and help like get someone out, and then myself getting stuck here as well. So I know Robert Monroe, the guy who wrote Far Journeys, the guy from Bell who pioneered and kind of invented binaural beats with the gateway process and astral projection, stuff like that. He tells a story about meeting a being or entity waiting outside of the Earth existence or realm, because his buddy went in here and got fucking lost and just did a whole bunch of more reincarnations. So I believe in reincarnation, but I think it's more like a trap. And as much as we are economic slaves or servants in our physical world, with how the people in power have created the rules and laws to maintain the power. We're economic slaves and servants as well, as we're internally like infiltrated or guided in these slight ways to stray away from like divinity and wholesomeness, to engage in activities that take away from us, that hurt ourselves and other people. But I don't know. All right, and I'll give shouts to some YouTube people I follow or like to listen to. It's St. Julian Baba Yanyama, the dude in Tanzania, and it's Rai, the Tiger Yoga guy. Big shouts to Yash, Beyond the Alchemy, and Earth Wisdom guy, and so many more. The physical aspect of it, he doesn't post anymore, but Jay Today has great information. Casey Xander, some of the stuff is good, dealing with like relationships and honestly, like if you're working with or hypergamy and women who are caught up in the trap as well, just seeking validation. Casey Xander, that's how to behave as like a man in relationship. There's a guy, the psychologist Hacks, good information about relationships as well and hypergamy and the sad nature of unless you wake up, and whatever you want to call waking up, to me it's what I talked about earlier, the awareness that we're beyond the physical and mental. And if you view life, if you understand life is just life, and we assign the polarity to it, we choose the good or bad, we prefer to be complimented and not criticized, right? But it's the same thing. So we take away our subjective bias towards existence, and it fucking sucks, right? Because some shit just is fucking evil. But we take it away and all life is life, right? And we can appreciate all life and make it sacred in that regard. Until I think you have those types of experiences, men and women, you're just a slave to your psychology, and you're a slave to your desire to release serotonin and dopamine and how those chemical processes, whether it's through video games, drugs, sex, any type of like even like the healthy ones like running, laughing, the joyful stuff as well. We can be hooked on that stuff, right? So until you understand or come to a knowing that you can rise above that, we're a slave to our psychology. So Hacks, that guy, Dr. Terabin, I think, go check all those people out and become more well-informed so you can operate and move more freely in life, more conscious and more reactive. I don't have an answer if you have those fucked up dreams. Just try to have that mindset, waking and sleeping life, that you're not going to give into lust or temptation or sex, because wet dreams, they count, man. I think they count. It's not like a separation between daytime and more conscious and wet dreams. It's a release. So once you conserve that energy and you cultivate it and you transmute it in whatever you want to do, you experience life in such a greater way. And it's much more purposeful and beautiful and meaningful. All right, thanks.